Hello everyone. This video would focus on compound interest, and this is the third part. In this part, we're going to solve for time t, which is on the exponent, and so we're going to use logarithms to solve for t. Before we dive into this example right here, let's go over the formula for compound interest. Please remember that compound interest is defined as the addition of interest to the principal sum of a loan or deposit. In other words, compound interest is interest on interest. It is the result of reinvesting interest rather than paying it out, so the interest in the next period is then earned on the principal sum plus previously accumulated interest. In other words, it is an interest on top of the interest. So the formula for compound interest is A equals P, quantity 1 plus R over N raised to the power NT, where our A is referred to as the total amount, including the previous interest earned. P is the principal. R is the interest rate. This has to be expressed in decimal. N here is the number of times interest is compounded per unit t, and t here is the time. Please remember that the value of n will be based on the following. So if it is compounded yearly, our n is 1. If it is compounded semi-annually, the n is 2. Quarterly, the n is 4. If it is compounded monthly, the n is 12. And if it's compounded weekly, it's going to be 52. And daily, it's going to be 365. Okay, going back to the example right here, Mark invests $7,500 in a retirement account with a fixed annual interest rate of 1.25% compounded monthly. How many years will it take for the account to have a total balance of $7,983.45? There are steps that we need to follow in order that we can solve this kind of problem. The first step is to write down the given. So I'm just going to label this as S1 right here. So we're going to write the given. So this 7,500 that we have right here is the principal. So I'm just going to label this as P. So P is 7,500. And then we also have another given right here, 1.25%. So that is actually the rate. So that is R is equal to 1.25%. Again, we need to change this to its decimal form. And we can do that by dividing this by 100. So that is 1.25 divided by 100. And that gives us 0.0125. And then we also have another given right here. It says it's compounded monthly. Monthly means that the N here is 12. And then we also have the amount in the balance after X years. So this value that we have right here represents the amount. So A is equal to 7,983.45 dollars. And so we are looking for time t. So t is gonna be a question mark. After we're done writing all the given right here, we need to move on to the second step. The second step states that we're supposed to plug these values into the formula and solve for the missing variable. So then I'm just gonna label this as S2 right here. So we are going to write down the formula and we plug these values in. Okay, so what I did was I plugged the values of P, A, R, and N. And so we are missing the T here, so I keep that as variable T. So what are we going to do next is we will simplify this part right here inside the parentheses. So I'm just going to show the work on the side right here. Okay, so what I did was I simplify this part right here. So I divided 0.0125 divided by 12. That comes out to this, and I added it to 1. And so the equation is going to look like this. Again, our target is to solve for time t. Now, we can clear this right side by dividing both sides with 7,500. So I'm just going to show the work right here. Okay, so we are left with this equation that we have right here. Now, please remember that we're supposed to be solving for t, and that is on the exponent. So what are we going to do next on this part here is we're going to log both sides. So this is how it's going to look like. Okay, after we log both sides, we remember that the exponent in a logarithmic expression can go to the front as a coefficient. So then this one can be placed down in the front right here as a coefficient. So the equation is going to look like this. Now, again, our target is to solve for t. So what are we going to do next is we are going to divide both sides with this expression that we have right here. Okay, we can use calculator to determine the value for this. And if you use the calculator on that, that would give us 12t, because we already crossed this out. Dividing this 2 will give us 60. So then we go ahead and solve for t from here. So I'm just going to show the work on the side right here. So this would come out. So that is 60 is equal to 12t. So we want to solve for t. So we're dividing both sides by 12. Divide this by 12 so we can cross the 12 out. We are left with t is equal to 5. Because we divide 60 divided by 12 is 5. And this is in years. This means that it takes 5 years for the money to grow from 7,500 to 7,983.45. So this is the value for t. At this time, I would encourage you to pause this video and try this problem out on your own. And when you're done, unpause it and check your answer. Okay, so we go over the problem here. Again, the first step is to write down the given. So I'm just going to show the work right here for the first step. Okay, so I got these values from the given right here. It says that Christine invests 4,750. So that is our principal in an account that offers a fixed annual interest rate of 3.14%. So that is the rate. And we change that to decimal by dividing it by 100. And so it says here that it's compounded quarterly. That tells us that our N is 4. How many years? So the time is missing for the balance to have 6,294.28, and that is the amount in the account. So then we are supposed to solve for t. So we're ready to move on to the second step. The second step says that we're supposed to plug these values into the formula and solve for the missing variable. So I'm just going to show the work on the side right here. Okay, so what I did was I plugged the values into the formula, the values that were given to us, the one that we listed up here. So what are we going to do next is we are going to simplify the ones inside the parentheses. And this is how the equation is going to look like. Okay, so after I simplify the ones inside the parentheses and then divided both sides by 4,750, the equation comes out to this. Now again, we are going to solve for t here, so we are going to log both sides. So this is how the equation is going to look like. So once we log both sides, this 4t becomes the coefficient of this logarithmic expression. And so we can go ahead and rewrite this as okay, so we can solve for t here by dividing both sides with this logarithmic expression that we have right here. So this is how it's going to look like. Okay, after we divided these two logarithmic expressions that we have here, it came out 36. And so we wanted to solve for t, and so we divide both sides by 4. And so 36 divided by 4 is 9. So it's going to take 9 years for Christine's investment from 4,750 to come out 6,294.28 at a rate of 3.14% compounded quarterly. Did you get the same answer as this? Good. Perfect. If you find this video helpful, hit like and subscribe for more math videos. See ya!